Sports Central, we go over USFL game preview and prediction on the Week 1 matchup between the Tampa Bay Bandits and the Pittsburgh Maulers. Good matchup coming up here in Week 1. You got the Bandits, who are widely thought of to be the best team in the league heading into the season, or at least the team that shows the most potential. And they're facing off against the Maulers, who are a team that's got a tremendously high ceiling, but at the same time, they've got a very low floor. Should make for a good matchup coming up here in Week 1. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Games be on Sunday, April 17th in Birmingham. Your kickoff time is 7 p.m. Eastern, and Tampa Bay is favored in this matchup by 2.5 points. And the Bandits, you got two very interesting teams going head-to-head here in Week 1. You got the Bandits, who are widely thought of to be the best team in the league. You got Jordan Ta'amu, who is a good quarterback. He's shown his potential. In the XFL when he played for the Battlehawks, he was a standout player for sure, potentially the best quarterback in that league. So, and now he's with the Bandits, and he got a good amount of depth in the running back position, Washington, Emmons, and then he got probably the best receiving core in the league, I'd say. And even defensively, they got some good depth as well. So, Bandits are a team that, it makes sense why they're the current favorite to win this thing outright. It makes sense why, but of course, we don't know anything about these teams yet because both teams haven't even played each other yet. So, we'll see what happens, and both teams haven't even played in this league in general. So, we'll know a whole lot more about these teams once we get a few games down. But for the Maulers are an interesting team here because they show potential. They've got a few players that I feel like definitely show potential, but at the same time, they could be busts as well. So, the Maulers, they've got a high ceiling but a low floor. I've seen multiple rankings where the Maulers are ranked in the top 3, but at the same time, there are some where they're ranked 6 or 7, and I've got them at 5 in my Week 1 rankings. I've got the Bandits at my number 1, which is no surprise there with Tampa Bay. So, but the Maulers, it's a very unpredictable team. Probably the most unpredictable team in this league, I'd say, is probably Pittsburgh. They could be, once again, really good or really bad. But you got two quarterbacks there. We got Love and Lauletta, who look pretty good. Josh Love and then Kyle Lauletta. And then running back situation does lack some depth. They got some good receivers for sure. Defensively, they look pretty good as well. So two interesting teams here. I got Tampa Bay once again at number 1 and then Pittsburgh at number 5. So key points for this one, Bandits, you got Jordan Ta'amu, who once again is, I would say, maybe the best quarterback in the league. You got Shea Patterson on the Panthers, who is expected to be good. I haven't seen him play in a while. But Jordan Ta'amu, he's had success. He had success in the XFL, so we'll see how he does. And I feel like with the Bandits likely being the most talented team, I'd say going in, this team definitely should. They definitely should be good. They have arguably the most talented roster of all. Once again, I mentioned the running back situation, Juwan Washington, and then B.J. Emmons. They got Eli Rogers, who is an experienced receiver. You got a great defensive line, linebacking situation, secondary both have potential as well. It makes sense why this team is the favorite to win the league. And for the Maulers team, I mentioned this before, they could easily be the best or the worst. They could be better than the Bandits, and they could be number 1. You never know, but it's tough to tell when you got a whole bunch of players that you really don't know too much about. With the Maulers and a whole bunch of players that show potential, but once again, we just haven't seen too much. And that's kind of the fun of it, of picking these Week 1 games, is because you're going in, it's like a shot in the dark. You have no idea how these teams are going to perform. You can look at the rosters and you can look at the skill and the talent and kind of make predictions that way, and that's what we're going off of right now. Kind of a unique situation, but certainly we're going to know a whole lot more about these teams in a couple of weeks once a few games are done. But for the Maulers, good depth. The defensive secondary looks to be the main issue. They do lack some size in that area, some depth and experience as well. So that is the main concern that I see with Pittsburgh defensively. But the defensive line looks good for the Maulers, I'd say. Linebacking situation looks okay as well. So, Pittsburgh definitely shows potential, and that's why it's going to be. I'd say this is probably the matchup I'm most looking forward to in Week 1. You got two of the teams that could definitely be the best, and with the most potential for sure. But that said, let's get to the prediction here for Bandits and Maulers coming up here in Week 1 of the USFL. I'm going to be going Bandits here. 24-17 is my predicted final score, and this is once again probably the matchup I'm most looking forward to this weekend, because you got two teams that definitely show potential, and you got the Bandits, who are widely thought of to be, once again, the best team in this league talent-wise, and I'm just more confident picking Tampa Bay here. That's basically what you can go off of right now. That's kind of the fun of it. Once again, we haven't seen these teams play yet, so you're kind of taking a shot in the dark. But I'm more confident with the Bandits here. I feel like they're the most complete team in the league. Jordan Ta'amu is probably the quarterback I'm most confident in. We've seen how he can play. In the XFL in 2020, he was arguably the best quarterback that played in those 5 weeks for the XFL. So Jordan Ta'amu, like him as a quarterback, and I definitely think he's got some potential. And once again, the Bandits, I just feel like, are the more complete team in this situation. But Pittsburgh, I've got them ranked 5th in my Week 1 rankings, but they're very capable of being one of the best teams in this league for sure. I'm going 55% towards the Bandits, over under 48.5. I'm going to be taking the under, and Tampa Bay to cover the spread, which is currently 2.5 points towards them right now. I do have the Bandits winning by 7 here, and I mentioned this before my previous previews for this week. I'm going to be taking the under for at least 3 out of the 4 of these Week 1 matchups, mainly because the offenses, they've hardly even played with each other. Until we can get a couple of games down where the offenses have experience with each other, I think it's very reasonable to think that we're going to see some lower scoring matchups in the first couple of weeks, especially in Week 1 here. I do think the defenses will mainly control these matchups in the first week, or maybe even the first couple of weeks. So I'm going to be taking the under for this one as well. 24-17 is my predicted final score here. Although, with the Bandits offense, I wouldn't be surprised if this game was the one of the 4 this weekend to go over. But that said, let me know your thoughts and comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.